Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ilma, or you may know me as Ilma Unfiltered from TikTok, where I talk about Black talk. This has to do with Black diaspora wars, Black conflict, or just spreading awareness about racism. Well, I'm so glad you're here and welcome to my first ever YouTube channel. And without a very long introduction, because I'm not a big fan of long introduction, let's just get straight into the video. With the month of August upon us, I know that there's a lot of you guys that are going back to school. And as a girl who grew up in a predominantly white area ever since the age of 10, just for context, I was raised and born in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Central Africa, and I moved to the United States in a very predominantly white area, and so I went to predominantly white institutions for all of my life. And with the month of August coming up, I was thinking about content ideas and what I wanted my first video to be, and I realized that my experience could be a learning time for a lot of black girls. And so if you're a black girl heading back to school and going into a predominantly white school, this video is for you. If you see me looking down, I will be looking down on my phone, and because I have a lot of notes and because this is the second video I'm filming about this, so I'm hoping that I will get this done, edit this, and get this out there. For context, I will be talking in bullet points in this video. I'll talk about comfort, microaggression, internalized racism, mental health, and things of that sort. So we'll be moving with we'll be moving in bullet points. So if there's a certain thing that you really want to listen to, I'll just put the timestamp in my description. Anyways, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is being comfortable. The biggest mistake that I made when I went to predominantly white school is I convinced myself that if I was small, other people would feel big and other people would not see the differences between me and them. And so I convinced myself that making myself small in sport, because I was very active throughout my high school year, making myself small in academics, and anything that we did would make them feel big, and so it would maybe erase the obvious racial differences between us. But that is so far away from the truth, because being black is who I am, and so the rejection of my blackness is the rejection of who I am, and it's the rejection of my person, because it is everything that I am. I realized that a lot of time I wanted to stay comfortable. I did not want to be put in any uncomfortable situation. I did not want to deal with any uncomfortable situation. I just wanted to be comfortable. I just wanted to be in my little tiny corner, and that was totally fine with me. And that was the biggest mistake that I made, because now that I'm looking back into it, there's so many opportunities that I missed to make my voice to known, heard, and understood, just because I didn't want people to really see me. I made myself small so that other people can feel big, and that was the biggest mistake ever. So then you may be asking yourself, Elma, how can I not make myself small? How can I not make myself too comfortable? There's only one and simple answer. Be yourself. I think you have to understand that no matter what you do, no matter if you make yourself small, you will always be black. And sometimes we convince ourselves that if we change the way we speak, if we change the way we talk, if we change the way we walk, the way we express ourselves, the way we see things, and the way our perspective is, that they will most likely accept us. But at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, whether you see it or not, you will always be black, no matter what. Being black is not something that you pick and choose the next day. Being black is not something that you change the next day. It's not something that the next day you wake up and is no longer part of you. No, being black is who you are. Being black is you. And again, when people reject your blackness, they reject your person, because there's no me without blackness, and there's no blackness without me. You can't get that side of me and one side of me. And when you come to acceptance with that, and when you come to being okay with that, it changes so many things. And going to a predominantly white school, there's almost something that you could never escape: microaggression. And so how do you deal with it on a daily basis? I remember I would deal with microaggression in the smallest way, whether it was people talking about my hair, people talking about the fact that I spoke too proper, or people speaking about the way I reacted to things. Because you have to understand, as a black girl, you're expected to react in such a stereotypical way, because a lot of people put us inside little bubbles, inside little boxes. And so something that I want you to remember going into school is that not everything, not every comment deserves your emotional energy. And let me hold your hand when I say this. And this is not because you want to not fit into the angry black woman stereotype, because you will always seen as an angry black woman, whether you speak or you don't speak. So is it better to speak or to not speak? It depends on the situation heavily. And it's really important for you to remember that you are not a teacher. Most like when I would get microaggressive comments, one thing that I would convince myself is that I had to educate everybody, right? I had to educate everyone. I had to educate people in my hair. I had to educate people that not every black person speaks the same way, and not every black person has the same background, and that Africa was a continent, not a country. But I came into later in the year, I came into realization that it is not our duties to make people literate. It is not our duties to educate people at all time, because people choose ignorance. You have to remember, people choose ignorance, and sometimes it is better to leave people exactly where they're at. It is better to let people think what they want to think. It is better to let people see things the way they want to see, and all of that. And remember, not every comment deserves an emotional response from you. But I'm also a person that also does not believe in bringing a fist into a gunfight. Sometimes when the microaggression is a constant pattern, I believe in returning energy. Yep, you heard me. I know I started in this video with low calm energy. No. Sometimes the best way to deal with microaggression is to be aggressive back. Regardless. Remember what I told you. You're going to be seen as an angry black woman naturally. You're going to be seen as an angry black woman whether you speak or you don't speak. It is all a stereotypical myth that they're holding on our heads. So sometimes when you're told that you're too pretty for a black you're pretty for a black girl, tell them that they're pretty for a white girl. Oh, you're pretty for a white girl. You're pretty for a blank girl. You have to return the energy, but you have to be able to differentiate and know when the situation is what it is. Like, you have to know how to react to a situation, but you have to remember that a lot of people that are microaggressive against you do it with the intent of making you angry. And so whenever you don't react the way that they want you to react, they get even more angry. And you have to remember and keep it in mind, not every comment deserves an emotional response from you. Another thing is also, whenever you're going through high school, middle school, whatever like institution that you're going into, you want to experience it with people. You want to experience and have genuine friendship. And that was the biggest thing that I struggled with. I was very okay with settling down with a certain level of microaggression in order for me to have friends. And that is absolutely the wrong way to deal with it. If there's one advice that I want you to remember, is that you have to be at the pursuit of black friends. And I know a lot of people are trying to convince you that you don't necessarily need black friends. You do. You want people that relate to you on an emotional level. You want people that relate to you on your everyday struggle. You want to be able to speak on your friend on different experiences, because sometimes there's nothing wrong with having friends of other races with different ethnic background and diversity, but you have to remember there's some things that you want to speak to your black friend about, because only your black friend would understand. Only your black friend will be able to relate to you. You want to have people that relate to you. You want to have people where like you can come together and it doesn't seem like your differences and their differences is absolutely drastic. You want to have those people, and you absolutely need to have your people. Find people who respect your culture. Find people who do not call you racial slur behind your back. You do not have to settle down for microaggression. You do not have to settle down to a certain level of racism for you to have friends. Settling down to a certain level of racism in order for them to stay your friend is a sign of racial weakness. And I want you to remember that. I want you to remember that. Keep that in your mind. And another thing is, 3, don't make racist jokes. People will only speak about you the way that they know that you've let them and you've allowed them. So people will only speak about you and to you in the ways that you have allowed them and make space for them to do so, right? Because we accept the love we think we deserve, right? We accept the treatment we think we deserve. So the way you're portraying yourself, the way you're portraying your self-esteem and your racial esteem is very important. So those racist jokes, those racial jokes, even if it's dark humor, you absolutely cannot make space for racial jokes, because it is a sign of the lowest and the weakest racial esteem. And the other thing is, find people who celebrate your win, and find people who don't disrespect you in any ways, racially, or about you as a person. You have to really find those people. But at the same time, remember what I told you. You have to be at the pursuit of finding black friends. You need people you relate to, and people who your differences doesn't seem so different when you're around them. and they can relate to you, and you can talk to them about different things. And so how do you do this more specifically? I have 4 ways. Join Black Student Union. If your campus is Black Student Union, you need to join it. Join Black Student Union, join African Student Association, join multicultural organization, be in cultural events, be in diversity events, involve yourself. And not only that, you have to be at the absolute pursuit of meeting people that look like you. So events at school that has to do with diversity, Black Student Association, any association with like diversity, make sure that you're involving yourself, make sure that you're getting in those spaces, because you're gonna have to absolutely want to do these things. Constantly dealing with microaggression can put us in the weakest moments of our lives, and can make us believe the things that we are told about ourselves, not because those things are true, but because we're hearing them and we're starting to believe them. And so this is why I wanted to also address internalized racism. This is probably the deepest section, like the deepest topic of my video today, because it is something that I have experienced myself, and that I had to break down and decolonize my mind from thinking that way. Internalized racism can sound like different ways. Internalized racism can sound like, I wish my hair looked like this. Internalized racism can be, maybe I'd be prettier if my skin were lighter. Internalized racism can be, maybe I should stop acting too Black. Maybe I should speak soft so that they don't see me as an angry Black woman. Internalized racism can be, oh, I should tell them that I hate pasta and steak instead of my culture of food, because I don't want them to think that we're too different, that we have too much of a difference of ethnic background. Internalized racism start in the smallest comments that your mind makes about yourself. And when you notice these things, you have to absolutely check them. You have to absolutely check them. But there's also one thing I want to tell you. The biggest thing that I struggled when I went to a predominantly white school, and the biggest part of my internalized racism inside of me, was beauty standard. I want to tell you this. European and Western beauty standard was never meant to cater to Black women. And so whenever we try to change our beautiful Afrocentric features, or the things about us that make us Black, in order to fit into a beauty standard that will never cater into us, we are falling for the trap. But also, not fitting into a beauty standard that was literally created against you doesn't mean that you're not attractive. You are just as beautiful. You don't need a lighter skin tone. You don't need your hair to look a certain way. You don't need anything. You just need to be yourself. You just need to be yourself. And it's so hard because you see it everywhere. You see it on social media. You see it in person. And you want approval. You want to look like every other person. You want your hair to be in a certain way and flow in a certain way. But you have to remember that these beauty standards were never set to cater to us. And so why are we pursuing something built against us? And we have to really let that sink. Because when it comes to internalized racism, healing starts when you realize that there was never anything wrong with being Black. The problem was living in spaces that made you question your worth. That's the problem. You were never the problem. Your Blackness was never the problem. Those spaces were. The things that they told you about the way you spoke were. The things that they told you about your hair was. Never you. So how do we heal from this? We learn about Black history. We start looking at Black girls on television and TV shows, artists that look like us, because you want someone that reflects your Blackness. You want someone that looks like you to be in the field that you're inspiring to be. You want someone that looks like you to be on television. So we learn about Black history. We learn about African civilization. We learn about Black inventors. We learn about Black excellence. We learn about the Black diaspora. We learn about everything about your people. You need to be able to educate yourself about your people and what people that look like you are doing, so that you know that you are not limited to be a certain thing. Learning about your history can completely change how you see yourself. And when it comes to the mental health aspect of it, I want you to remember that you deserve to exist without constantly proving your humanity or your worth, or proving that you are just as human. You are just a normal girl like every other person. You do not have to constantly prove that. You do not owe nobody an explanation. You do not owe nobody consistently trying to prove yourself to them. And so, in which ways can you make your blackness bold? Remember that your blackness is nothing to apologize about. And so, how can you do that? And so, how can you show that? Speak confidently. Speak as yourself. Don't code switch because you want to fit in. Apply for leadership positions. Yes, student government. Go for it. Any clubs. Be a president of a club. Apply for leadership position. Make your voice heard. Make your voice known. Don't let the stereotypes stop you. Take up spaces. Don't let people convince you that you're too much because they're too little and they need you to be too little just like them. People project their misery and people project the bad things that they think about themselves onto other people. So take up that space. Apply for that leadership opportunity. Be bold. Be you. You deserve to be there just as much as everyone else. You deserve that leadership position. You deserve to speak. You deserve your voice to be heard just like everyone else do. And so that is all that I had to talk about. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and that this video brings you a sort of comfort and readiness going into this year. And if you have any more questions, if you want to speak to somebody, if you have any dilemmas that you're dealing with, you can contact me. I have all my social medias linked below, as well as comment. Make sure that you subscribe and you share this post and you follow me on all of my other social media platforms. And yeah, just to end this video, I really just want you to remember that I'm proud of you. Walking into spaces where you don't belong, walking into places where you're not represented takes courage. There will be days when it's hard and there will be days where it's not. But don't let those experiences convince you that you do not belong in every single room that you walk in. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. Don't spend this school year trying to become something that you do not have to be and someone that you do not have to become just to fit into a room that they were never built to cater to you. Those rooms were never built to be for you. Those rooms were never built for you. And so why waste your time trying to fit into them? Instead, walk in as yourself and let the room adjust to you. It is important for you to walk into every single room and let the room adjust to you because you belong there. And so to end my video, I want you to remember to stay black, to stay confident, but most importantly, to stay bold. I love you. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.